All right, so the latest Dell XPS 15 and 17 coming out in 2020 has just been leaked. And we're going to talk about that right now and what it means for creative professionals. And can this laptop overtake the MacBook Pro 16? All that's coming at you right now. If you're new to the channel, my name is Benji Kaiser and you're watching Don't Tech With Me. This is the place where you're going to get the latest tech news for creative professionals, as well as tech terms demystified. So if that sounds like your kind of place, consider subscribing and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of the future videos. Right now, we're talking about the latest Dell XPS 15 and the announcement of a 17-inch model. So what we're looking at is the latest i7 10th Gen 750H processor or the latest i7 10th Gen 875H processor. So two of these options here, we're seeing rumors on both of them. One is a 6-core 12-thread, one is an 8-core 16-thread. So basically, we're getting a lot more power in this laptop. Now, we're going to show you what it's going to be looking like. It looks a little bit thinner, a little bit lighter. So my concern in this big processor boost is resolving the thermal issues that we've seen in the past. So my question is, have they, in this new thin and light frame body that we're seeing, have they resolved the thermal issues? Because if they haven't, this big processor boost, this 10th series processor or 10th generation is not going to perform as well as we are hoping. So right now, the big to-do is the MacBook Pro 16-inch, in my opinion. It is a decently priced laptop for great performance. And by decent, I mean it's not $3,500 to $4,000, and it has great performance in video editing, in graphic design, in animation, so on and so forth. Now, it is not a budget laptop, we all know that, but it is a very well fine-tuned laptop for the price. That i7-9750H performs incredibly inside that laptop. It beat out the current Dell XPS 15 in the i9 model. To me, that's incredible. And the reason is the thermals in that latest i9 model are atrocious. So what I'm hoping to see in the new Dell XPS 15 is improved thermals. So as you see here, we have the Dell XPS 15. It looks a little bit thinner, a little bit lighter. We're not seeing an i9 option. I think personally that's a good idea since the thermal issues we saw in last year's generation were not good. We're seeing also a substantially faster GPU. So we're seeing the Nvidia Gtx 1660 Ti. All right, now let's take a look at that versus the current 1650 in last year's model. Okay, so we're seeing the average effective speed of this GPU at 82%. More effective than last year's GPU. We're seeing an average user benchmark of 92% better. That means everybody who submits their laptop to this online user benchmark service is seeing 92% faster benchmarks. And then we're seeing an overclock benchmark. This thing's very overclockable at 99% more performance. Okay, so that's showing us that right there, if you're going to be getting into rendering, if you're going to be getting into running Premiere Pro and being in the timeline and the playback, you're going to get way better playback on this newer model with the GTX 1660 Ti. So that's a good sign. Now, some people are rumoring that it's going to be a 1660 Ti Max Q perchance. I don't know that for sure. Obviously, this is a leak. This is just ideas and benchmarks that we're hypothesizing. But that is a possibility. All right, also we're going to see a 16:10 aspect ratio, which is really solid. You're going to have a wider screen. And as always, my question was it actually leaked? Comment below if you think it was actually leaked or if you just think it's like this constant hoax of leaking product knowledge so that way everybody talks about it to get the hype up. I think it's hype-oriented, but that's just my personal opinion. Okay, we're going to see, with anticipation, better audio. As you see on top here, I see what looks like two speakers on each side, two speaker vents. Now, if we have 4 speakers total, that would be incredible. So to like 200 each vent. We're looking towards more of a MacBook Pro design here. And so that would improve the audio greatly because right now on the current Dell XPS 15s, the speakers are underneath the computer, which creates a terrible audio experience. It's one of my 2 major complaints about the computer. My second major complaint about my current Dell XPS 15, the previous models, is the trackpad. So as you see here, the newest trackpad is a larger trackpad. It looks a lot like the MacBook Pro. Like I say, they take a lot of design cues from the MacBook Pro when it comes to these Dell XPS 15s. But as you see, it looks bigger. Okay, it's using most likely the precision drivers, which is great. I complain a lot about the previous version, so the current model that's available of the Dell XPS 15 trackpad. And people are like, what are you talking about? It's precision drivers. It's supposed to be the best drivers, but it's not the drivers I have an issue with. It's the hardware. The hardware on the current trackpad available in the Dell XPS 15 is very low quality in my opinion. It's clunky. It's got a really hard click. Mine has actually ended up bucking up. So like this is the trackpad here, and it's supposed to be below the keyboard deck. It has actually now bucked itself up above the keyboard deck, and it makes clicking very, very difficult. I actually almost have to use touch gestures or my mouse for everything. So the touch gestures on the precision driver are great for the Dell XPS 15 current model. The hardware of the trackpad is, in my opinion, very bad. So I'm hoping, as we see here, we're getting a better trackpad. Okay, we're also seeing an SD card slot, huge bonus. We're not removing that. I'm very thankful for that. And 4 Thunderbolt ports, which I assume would be hopefully display ports, power ports on all of them. It looks a little bit thinner, a little bit lighter, so I'm hoping they resolve the cooling issues even with it being thinner and lighter. All right, the next thing we're going to look at is a hopeful anticipation of a top bezel webcam. I don't know because both bezels look very thin on these, leaked images, but I'm going to show you the current webcam of a Dell XPS 15. This is the current webcam. So if I'm talking to somebody and saying, hey, how you doing? You're basically looking up my nose, and it's just not a flattering angle. So I'm hoping that they resolve this issue by moving the webcam back up to the top of the bezel. Okay, so that's what we're noticing so far. There's 4 things that I'm really hoping for. The trackpad's been greatly improved. The thermals have been solved because no matter how fast of a processor you put in a computer, if it has bad thermals, it has to throttle it back, and we lose all that wonderful power. Okay, the webcam moving up top, and of course that GPU is a 1660 Ti non-Max-Q version, because if that's true, this computer is going to pack a big punch for Premiere Pro. It's going to run fantastic in the timeline. It's not going to be laggy. It's going to be great for rendering. It's really going to be an amazing creative professional notebook. So those are the things that I'm hoping for. If you've liked this video, definitely drop a comment. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to answer them for you. If you really loved it, subscribe, follow along. We're going to come out with more content coming your way. This is far more of a casual conversation channel. I have my other channel, Benji Kaiser, where I do dedicated computer reviews, where I get the computer in, I run tests, I talk about it. This is more talking about news, talking about tech terms that we're really trying to help creative professionals understand better on this channel. So a lot of times what I find is creators are amazing at what they do, but they don't always understand the best gear, myself included until I really got into this, on what makes for an effective laptop for their profession. So all that comes at you on this channel. I'm Benji Kaiser. This is Don't Tech With Me. I'll see you here on the next one.